ran for 3 of its first 4 seasons. But in the last few years, the show would lose viewers and then add and drop characters to shake things up.
My character is sort of a mystery guy who's come to town and becomes sort of the right-hand man, heir apparent to Jane Wyman's character, Angela Channing. So he's a bit of a rogue, a bit of a mystery man, which is sort of interesting.
Well-known stars would be cast on the show. A veritable who's who of Hollywood, which included Kim Novak, Gina Lollobrigida, Cliff Robertson, and Lana Turner. By season 9, Falcon Crest looked like a brand new show.
My character's name is Lauren, and Falcon Crest is inhabited by a lot of bad people who have a lot of fun, from what I can tell from the scripts. But they need a good person in there, and I'm one of them. But she has a dark current, and that is in the name of her brother, who's played by Gregory Harrison.
Well, my character's name is Michael Sharp, and he deals in stocks and bonds. He's a corporate raider kind of guy who is centered out of Sausalito. He's got a whole entourage of people who work for him, and he's wheeler dealer, fast talker, kind of ruthless. A lot of fun to play.
The storylines are picking up. There's so much happening. It's very exciting. It's completely different show.
Lorenzo Lamas welcomed the changes.
I think the show is finally going to be the show that it always had the potential of becoming. The writing is just fantastic. There's a lot of talent on this show. I mean, real good talent. We've had to step up now and make some changes in our particular soap opera format. Falcon Crest is now going to be reborn. It's going to be a whole new show. I look at it like the first year of a new series, because that's the way I feel, and it's very exciting.
That season, its 9th, ratings slipped so much the show was canceled. But not before Jane Wyman's character, Angela Channing, who didn't appear for most of the last season, returned to say goodbye to the storied vineyards.
People come and go, but the land endures.
When our journey continues, we look back to 1978, when Dianne Feinstein became the first female mayor of San Francisco, launching her decades-long political career. And we remember the outcome of a trial that same year, when William Milligan became the first person acquitted of a crime due to multiple personality defense. Then we recall the killing of Fred Hampton and Mark Clark at the hands of Chicago police. Plus, we relive the long-awaited release of an American hostage, journalist Terry Anderson, from his captors in Lebanon. And we'll profile the career of Jeff Bridges, whose Hollywood lineage didn't deter him from distinguishing himself through his own success. It's December 4th, and you're watching Through the Decades.
If you, like many people, are covered by both Medicare and your state's Medicaid, here's something important to know. Now you could get even more health benefits than you already have. It's the United Healthcare Dual Complete Plan. To find out if you or someone you care about is eligible, it's easy. Call now to talk with us. We can explain it all and answer any questions. And Medicare gives you some too, but a Dual Complete Plan can add even more benefits. Hospitals to choose from, plus prescription drug coverage. And depending on where you live, you could enjoy other benefits too, like dental care, vision coverage, and rides to and from your hospital. You can even get a health products catalog with credits you can use to shop for everyday things, like vitamins, oral health items, and first aid kits. And best of all, with this plan, there's no additional cost to you. Remember, if you have Medicare and Medicaid, chances are you could get a Dual Complete Plan. So call now to talk with us and learn more. Or ask to have a licensed agent visit your home and take you through everything step by step. We know healthcare can be confusing. United Healthcare can straighten things out. With 40 years of experience, you can count on us to be there all along the way. With a dual complete plan, you could have a wide choice of doctors to choose from. Better prescription drug coverage, dental and vision coverage too, all at no additional cost. You have Medicare, you have Medicaid. You may be eligible for dual complete. So call the number on your screen now to see if you're eligible, or to enroll in a dual complete plan from United Healthcare.
In the wake of tragedy, she'd make history. Following the assassination of San Francisco Mayor George Moscone, Dianne Feinstein was appointed to serve out the remainder of his term, becoming the first female mayor of San Francisco on December 4th, 1978. A native of San Francisco, California, Dianne Feinstein's introduction to politics were trips to City Hall with her uncle as a teenager to watch San Francisco Board of Supervisors meetings. She was hooked and soon resolved to commit herself to a life of public service. In 1969, at the age of 36, she was elected to the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. No longer on the outside looking in, she'd go on to become the board's first female president in 1978. In between those years were 2 failed runs for city mayor. But she'd get there, thrust into the position during one of San Francisco's darkest hours.
Good evening. San Francisco Mayor George Moscone and a member of the city's Board of Supervisors were shot and killed today in City Hall. 45 minutes later, a former city supervisor surrendered to police.
Yes, I heard shots. I heard 3.
On November 27th, 1978, former city supervisor Dan White shot dead City Mayor George Moscone and board member Harvey Milk. Feinstein, who was in City Hall that day, was the first to find Milk's body, and moments later announced the assassinations to a stunned public. As president of the Board of Supervisors, she was next in line to take over as mayor. Suddenly, it fell on her to unite a city in crisis.
As acting mayor, I order an immediate state of mourning in our city for the loss of our mayor and our supervisor. The city and county of San Francisco must and will pull together at this time.
Over the next few days, as the city grieved, Feinstein became a much-needed voice of calm.
We cry out to reverse the irrevocable. In our sorrow, this lovely jewel of a city seems a dark and saddened place.
On December 4th, 1978, Feinstein was officially sworn in to finish out the rest of Mayor Moscone's term. And much like her ascension to president of the Board of Supervisors that same year, she'd again mark a first. The first female mayor of the city of San Francisco. A year later, she was elected mayor in her own right. Re-elected in 1983, she'd remain San Francisco's mayor until 1988. And while her tenure wasn't always smooth sailing, including a recall attempt when she proposed a handgun ban, Feinstein established herself as a skilled and dynamic politician, known as a moderate Democrat who revamped San Francisco's cable car system, kept a balanced budget, and oversaw extensive downtown development. And while her mayorship was over after 9 years, her ambitions were far from extinguished.
Here in California, with its burgeoning population, at least 6 million new Californians in the 1980s, and watched nationwide as a setter of social trends, the California governor's race is attracting interest far beyond the state's borders. Democrat Dianne Feinstein, former mayor of this city of San Francisco, versus Republican U.S. Senator Pete Wilson.
I'm Dianne Feinstein, the first woman running for governor in the largest state in the union.
Feinstein's gubernatorial run made waves throughout the country. But in California, where it mattered most, those waves weren't enough to secure a victory. She lost the election to Pete Wilson. But with defeat came opportunity. To assume governorship, Wilson vacated his Senate seat. It was up for grabs, and Feinstein quickly set to campaigning for it.
The so-called woman's agenda is now becoming the national agenda. Today, women are 60% of the workforce. They work, they earn a living. Issues like child care and parental leave are no longer social issues. They're now economic issues.
In November 1992, she won the seat in a special election and has been a member of the United States Senate ever since, asserting herself as one of the most beloved and powerful politicians in not only California, but also in Washington. In some respects, an institution who's made good on her lifelong commitment to public service.
Still to come, we remember the man who attributed his violent sexual assaults to a mental disorder. Plus, a journalist's return to America after years in captivity. This is Through the Decades.
Do you use a CPAP mask to sleep at night?
If you have Medicare or private insurance, US Med can provide you with a new CPAP mask as well as filters and tubing whenever you need them for little or no cost to you.
It is important that you replace your mask and supplies on a regular basis to avoid infections, bacteria, and leaking.
The major manufacturers have recently introduced new and improved masks that are smaller and softer to provide maximum comfort and a better fit.
My new mask is so much better than the old mask. Now I can sleep through the night.
In addition to your new CPAP mask, if you've had your machine for over 5 years, US Med may now be able to provide you with a new CPAP machine at little or no cost to you.
These new machines are quieter, smaller, and even blow less air when you exhale for easier breathing.
Now we can enjoy our life more fully.
Call now to see if you qualify to receive a new CPAP mask or CPAP machine from US Med today.
Sun, rain, and wind. Right Way Roofing knows Arizona and what it can do to your roof. From minor repairs to complete replacement, we've got you covered. Our state-of-the-art materials are designed to stand up to whatever Arizona dishes out. We offer a 15 to 30-year warranty depending on your roof, so you know it's done right. Right Way Roofing. Call or go online now for your free estimate.
As seen on Home HQ, airing Sundays at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. on CW6.
How you doing?
Do you like to have a good time? Have a magnetic personality?
And you are?
Not interested. Do people have a hard time focusing because you're so attractive?
God gave me a big heart and an amazing set of hunkers.
Then you're a Joey, Charlie, Victoria, Barney, the Charmer. And these heartbreakers will satisfy your needs 5 nights a week.
Daddy's home.
On CW6, Characters Wanted. Which one are you?
Kidnapping, rape, assault. Brutal crimes demanding severe punishment. But on December 4th, 1978, the case against William Stanley Milligan ended with a verdict of not guilty by reason of insanity. Milligan became the first person diagnosed with multiple personality disorder to be acquitted of a major crime.
Mental experts say 23-year-old William Milligan has possessed 10 different and conflicting personalities for most of his life. He's been in what's called a psychological coma, unable to control his own emotions. Today, Milligan went on trial for rape, kidnap, and aggravated assault. Crimes his lawyer said were not conducted by Milligan himself, but by Milligan's other personalities.
Multiple personality disorder, officially known as dissociative identity disorder, was first widely reported in the 19th century. One of the earliest patients diagnosed was Frenchman Louis Vevey, whose case inspired Robert Louis Stevenson to write Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. But it wasn't until the 1970s that multiple personality disorder was used as a legal defense in a court of law, in the precedent-setting case of Billy Milligan.
Since Milligan waived his right to a jury trial, statements by psychiatrists were presented to Judge Jay Flowers. They detailed how Milligan, as a young boy, was physically and sexually abused by his stepfather. That to escape, Milligan's personality went to sleep and others emerged, forcing him into irrational and suicidal behavior.
Milligan's 10 personalities included an English poet, a smooth-talking con man, an 8-year-old boy, a 3-year-old girl, a lesbian housekeeper, an escape artist, a harmonica player, a 14-year-old recluse, and an aggressive Yugoslavian who was most likely in control at the time of the assaults.
These were specific personalities, identifiable by tone of voice, facial expression, body image. They were ones that we became knowledgeable about so that we could identify with whom we were talking.
Milligan's sister Kathy said her brother was constantly brutalized by their stepfather during those early days of their lives.
They were just filled with fear, constant fear of, what's going to happen next.
What happened to Billy in those days?
Well, among the physical, there was emotional abuse, and it's so hard to describe. It was like living in horror.
When that horror was described in court, Milligan covered his face. Doctors say that while he is still fragile, his emotions now are largely his own. And when it was over, the judge ruled Milligan was not guilty for reasons of insanity.
This court hearing today wasn't to sell any type of sob story, but would prove a lot of things about hurting children. And I hope that someday somebody will have it in their heart to make sure this doesn't happen to somebody else.
Within 3 days, the probate court will decide whether William Milligan is set free or confined in a mental institution. Doctors say he needs further treatment, and that without it, he could easily snap again and become dominated by a variety of different personalities.
Billy Milligan was found not guilty by reason of insanity and spent the next decade in a series of state-run mental hospitals where 14 additional personalities were documented. In 1981, he married Tonda K. Bartley, who had met and been accepted by all 24 of his personalities. That same year, he was the subject of a book that became a global bestseller. Interest in Milligan remained high, even after his discharge in 1988. In 2016, his story inspired film director M. Night Shyamalan, just as Louis Vivet had inspired Robert Louis Stevenson. Billy Milligan lived quietly until his death in 2014 at age 59, leaving a lasting legacy, both medical and legal.
Number 1 hits and a historic Woodstock appearance. Still ahead, we turn the clock back to the 60s and 70s when Sly Stone took the soul and funk worlds by storm. You're watching Through the Decades.
The Decades Daily Binge presents Lost TV. Tomorrow, it's an experiment gone wrong in the small screen adaptation of H.G. Wells' The Invisible Man. Tomorrow, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern, right here on Decades. Check out Decades.com for more exclusive video content. Relive, remember, and relate with Decades.com.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Introducing a breakthrough in hearing aid technology. Presenting the all-new Eargo Plus, the world's smallest, most comfortable rechargeable hearing aid. Designed with patented flexifibers, so they're suspended completely inside the ear canal, and so small that they're virtually invisible. The kind of invisibility hearing aid wearers have been looking for. If you could look for invisibility, that is, which you can't. Or, I guess you can, but you won't find it. Well, because it's invisible. You know. Anyway, the point is, most people probably won't even know you're wearing them. And they're so comfortable, you might forget you're wearing them yourself. Eargo Plus is also rechargeable, so there's no need to replace batteries. Because there's nothing more frustrating than those tiny hearing aid batteries. Or there probably is, but we just can't think of it right now. And our advanced noise reduction technology reduces background noise. Don't wait. Call or go online now to get your free sample pair today. And try the hearing aid PC magazine called Tiny, Comfortable, and Nearly Invisible. Eargo. Hear life to the fullest.
If you were around in the late 60s or early 70s, odds are you danced to the music of Sly Stone, which filled the clubs and the airwaves with a sound like no one had heard before. And it was on this day in 1971 when he hit #1 on both the pop charts and the R&B charts with the song Family Affair. Sly Stone was born in Denton, Texas, and in his early 20s moved to San Francisco, where he was a popular DJ. But he left radio to form his own band, the Stoners. In 1966, he merged with his brother's band, Freddie and the Stone Souls. The result was Sly and the Family Stone. Their one-of-a-kind sound was a thrilling blend of soul, funk, rock, and blues, and it took the country by storm. In 1969, it also took them to Woodstock, where they delivered an epic performance of their hit, I Want to Take You Higher. And higher is exactly where Stone was headed. At the height of his fame, in 1974, he married his fiancée, Kathy Silva, during a performance at Madison Square Garden. But his career took a downturn when his cocaine use got out of hand. He started missing concerts, and as a result, bookings dried up. Stone declared bankruptcy in 1976, and his marriage ended the same year. He left the music business to get clean and heal.
Yeah, values started getting a bit more clear. I look around and then I realize that I'm thankful that I'm still here, and I still love music. And a number of my friends are not here anymore. Some people from Woodstock, they're not here anymore, and so I'm thankful. So I guess I owe it to myself, to others, and to try to appreciate the life that I've been given, and now try to carry it out.
He released a comeback album in 1983.
Some of the lyrics say, how can you think in pencil and make a decision in ink, etc. And it goes on. It's like, how can you... There's just one way to do it.
In 1993, Sly and the Family Stone were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In the decades since, he's continued to battle both his addiction and his old management, whom he sued for $50 million in songwriting royalties. But he still managed to release another solo album in 2011.
Well, music will be here, and I believe I'll relate to it forever.
As our journey continues, we recall the FBI-directed raid that killed Mark Clark and Fred Hampton in 1969 Chicago. And we relive the release from Lebanon of American journalist held hostage Terry Anderson. Plus, on the day of his birth, we sift through the career of Hollywood's jack of all trades, Jeff Bridges. 1969 was a defining year for the political activism of the Black Panthers. Their Black Power message had spread out of Oakland, California, and was taking root in cities across the country. In Chicago, that message ran into the steadfast opposition of Mayor Daley and State's Attorney Edward Hanrahan, backed by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And after a year of violent clashes between the two groups. The 21-year-old leader of the Black Panthers in Chicago, Fred Hampton, and party member Mark Clark were murdered at the hands of Chicago police on this day in 1969.
As you open this door, there's blood behind the door.
At the end of 1969, a war had been waged on citizens in Chicago.
In the early morning of December 4th, we got a call. Come to the crib. The crib was a Panther term for apartment. Come to the crib, chairman's crib. He's been murdered.
They murdered Fred Hampton. They're out to murder me. It's like they murdered anybody that's black.
The events leading to the murder of Black Panthers Mark Clark and Fred Hampton in December 1969 were spurred into action the year before.
And if we are to restore order and respect for law in this country, there's one...
Richard Nixon was just elected president, and there was a whole law and order wave that he was initiating nationally, and that was happening in this city as well under the leadership of Richard Daley I and Edward Hanrahan, who was the state's attorney of Cook County. It was kind of unspoken that if Hanrahan played his cards right, the machine and Daley would have him as the successor to Daley when he passed the throne. So to do that, Hanrahan in 1968 and onward started a war on gangs.
We're going back up to the mountaintop. We're going to say,
At the beginning of 1969, Black Panthers took their populist message to cities like Denver, Detroit, and Chicago, embedded in dynamic and committed young leadership, able to cultivate diverse local support.
I was a second-year law student at Northwestern, and early in 1969, a friend of mine at Northwestern got me interested in working with some young lawyers who were representing the Black Panther Party. Society in the sense of they wanted revolutionary change. They were challenging the police to a degree I don't think they understood.
As soon as the Panthers arrived in Chicago, they were marked by the FBI's co-intel surveillance program, which in turn tapped that ambitious Cook County State's attorney, Ed Hanrahan, to do their bidding.
As early as January of 1969, the co-intel program in Chicago was focused not only on Hampton and the Panthers, but was already talking about using violence and trying to foment violence.
The Black Panther police shootout lasted 30 minutes. During it, 5 policemen were wounded, but only one seriously.
As we go through 1969, we see a series of clashes between the Panthers and the FBI, one raid by the FBI in June. Then we see 2 or 3 after that in July.
I jumped out of the car, and when these 2 men saw me jump out, they ran back in and locked the door. And I ran up to the door, trying to get it open, and my partner got out of his side of the car then. And as he got out, someone from the second floor window there took a shot at him, and he hollered that I've been shot at. I thought I was going to get
been an approved AARP provider since 2008, offering superior customer support and outstanding value to AARP members, including exclusive discounts.
We've watched our kids grow up and leave home. That was hard.
But with Consumer Cellular, it's easy to stay in touch with family and stay within our budget.
Stop paying too much for wireless service and switch to Consumer Cellular. You can even keep your phone and number. Now, for a limited time, get a $20 credit on any new line of service. Call 1-800-388-6689. Go to consumercellular.com or visit a Target store today.
Visit Decades.com for daily and weekly schedules, program descriptions, video, and more. Log on and look back at Decades.com.
He was the last and longest held American hostage at the time, sitting for 7 years in the depths of a war-torn Lebanon at the ends of the Iranian-backed Hezbollah. On December 4th, 1991, Terry Anderson was released. Following his unimaginable ordeal, Anderson was eager to connect with his family and friends, including his 6-year-old daughter, whom he had never seen.
Good evening. This is the CBS Evening News. Bob Schieffer reporting. It seems almost beyond comprehension, but the turmoil in Lebanon is growing even worse. Today, there was yet another kidnapping of an American.
The Lebanese civil war had been a fixture on the evening news since the 70s. In that time, there had been other Americans kidnapped. But in '85, kidnapping Americans became a new and more prolific tactic of war, one that was given a face, that of Associated Press correspondent Terry Anderson. He had been stationed in Beirut for a few years and knew the dangers that came with the job.
He seemed to feel that for some reason he wouldn't be bothered. I don't know why. It was like they wouldn't quite dare do this.
But they did. Hezbollah, an Iranian-backed militant Shiite Muslim group, was formed in response to Israel's military presence in Lebanon in 1982. Early attacks included the bombing of the U.S. Embassy in 1983 that claimed 63 lives. And Hezbollah was taking Americans hostage in a bid to drive all Americans out of the country. And it was working.
Taking no chances, the U.S. Embassy moved 11 members of its staff to Cyprus today. They joined 18 other Americans who were airlifted out on Thursday. The embassy said it was not an evacuation, but rather a temporary reduction in staff consistent with prevailing security conditions. And those conditions are grave. In the south, an Israeli armored column raided and occupied the Shiite village of Borz Rahal. And in the north, Syrian tanks moved to the edge of the Christian heartland in an attempt to shore up the teetering national unity government of Amin Gemayel. It's estimated that 90 to 95% of the Christian militias are now aligned against the Christian president. They've seized Gemayel headquarters in Juni in open rebellion against reforms that would give Muslims more power. It's also dashed a year-long effort to reconcile differences here. Once again, the U.S. government is urging Americans to avoid travel to Beirut and advising those already here to leave.
By the end of 1988, American presence in Lebanon was essentially gone. But Terry Anderson remained for weeks, months, and years.
Today, attention was paid by hostage family members and journalists in Washington and in Paris, where 2 former French hostages chained themselves to a tree in front of the Iranian embassy.
We used to think it would be for 1 week, after 1 month, 6 months, but 5 years is unbelievable. 5 years is too much.
Logic suggests it's time for this to be over. Everything has changed. The U.S. has even begun again to explore, this time through the French and the Swiss, just what it would take to make a deal. So even though logic has never meant much in the Middle East, people are daring to hope that this nightmare could soon end.
By the end of 1990, the Civil War was drawing to a close, and U.S. relations with the major foreign influences were improving, which led to the release of the remaining hostages the following year. On December 4th, 1991, it was Terry Anderson's turn.
Terry Anderson is out of the black hole. The last of American hostages emerged today from the terror of the Beirut underground. Anderson spoke to reporters in Damascus, Syria, and met his 6-year-old daughter for the first time. Tonight, he's flying to the U.S. military hospital in Wiesbaden in Germany, where Peter Van Sant begins our coverage.
Journalist Terry Anderson greeting friends and colleagues after 2,455 days in living hell.
I'm going to try and shake as many people's hands as I can.
The longest-held American hostage unchained at last, saying his stubbornness and his fellow hostages kept him going through 6.5 years of misery.
You just do what you have to do. You wake up every day and you summon up the energy from somewhere, even when you think you haven't got it, and you get through the day. And you do it day after day after day.
Those days now included spending time with his daughter, who was born 3 months after his abduction.
His friends had said it earlier. The captors did not break Terry, and it was obvious. Anderson was in his element, surrounded by fellow journalists and jubilant. But as he sat down to speak, he wavered, overcome.
I think you know how I feel. Excuse me.
His sister, Peggy, who had pushed others for 6.5 years to get him to this point, pushed him on.
Don't do this. I didn't expect this.
Friends who had worked with Anderson in Beirut wept as he told of living at times blindfolded, chained with no light, sometimes in a cell 6 by 6.
There were some pretty bad times, and there were times when I was near despair. I don't think I ever quite gave up.
It was his fellow hostages, Anderson said, a Bible, faith, and ingenuity that kept him going.
What were your last words to the kidnappers?
Goodbye.
His versatile talent set him apart from his already established family name. We revisit the career of Jeff Bridges in today's Through the Decades profile.
Thursday and Friday, Decades celebrates Kirk Douglas's 101st birthday with 2 films and a pair of in-depth interviews with the Kennedy. Thursday and Friday, starting at 8 a.m. Eastern on Decades.
If you have a car, you could get cash. With a Speedy Cash Express title loan, you get more cash, up to $5,000, and no clear title needed. Apply for a Speedy Cash Express title loan today and unlock more cash.
Love that Speedy Cash.
A message from the Reliant Group. Many American workers were subjected to hazards in the environment without their knowledge for decades. While the dangers of asbestos and airborne threat has been known for years, the risk was often hidden from the public, resulting in thousands of cases of asbestos-induced mesothelioma. Those who were most affected were workers in a number of different trades, where companies produced products containing asbestos. A U.S. bankruptcy court has established asbestos trusts with $30 billion in initial funding. You may be entitled to financial compensation without ever going to court. If you or someone you know has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, your voice deserves to be heard. Call the Reliant Group at 800-804-2493.
catheter that was easier for me to use right out of the package. I even use them in my airplane and carry 4 or 5 and can be gone for a whole day. And now that I've found the best catheter for me, it's made my life much easier.
There are so many innovative catheters. Get the best catheter for you. Call Liberator Medical, a C.R. Bard company. Get your free catheter sample pack.
Call 1-800-927-1980. 1-800-927-1980.
Are you one of millions of women embarrassed by hair loss or suffering from thinning hair? You have a personalized, proven solution right here. Welcome to Hair Club.
I had my self-confidence back. My husband was like, that's my wife.
Hair Club offers a wide range of private designed-for-you hair loss solutions. Each of them proven and backed by a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Call or go online for more details.
Do you realize how nice it is for someone to walk up to you and say, my God, you have the most beautiful hair here.
After 40 years and 500,000 happy clients, it's no wonder Hair Club is the trusted hair loss solutions provider and the reason hundreds of thousands of women just like you have turned their lives around.
Why do I love life? Because Hair Club brought that life back to me.
Call now for your free confidential consultation, and we'll give you these 4 deluxe full-size women's hair products free as a gift. These free gifts are only available to women watching this commercial.
Call 1-800-277-2619.
When our journey continues tomorrow, we'll reflect on the revered, powerful leader who personified dignity amid his 27 years as a political prisoner and shaped a country, Nelson Mandela. Plus, we'll relive the Great Migration amid the gold rush craze that sparked San Francisco's population boom. And we'll revisit the burgeoning career of multi-talented comedian Margaret Cho. It's all tomorrow, December 5th, on Through the Decades.
That'll do it for us today. I'm Bill Curtis. As we leave, one last look back at December 4th through the decades.
Decades for December 4th. We're celebrating legendary actress Rose Marie today, now with her guest appearance in the sitcom Love That Bob. This episode, Bob Retrenches, originally aired in 1958 and marked Marie's first time on the show. She reprised her role as Martha Randolph 9 more times in the series. Enjoy Love That Bob featuring Rose Marie. This is Decades for December 4th.
Hold it. I think you're going to like this picture. Love That Bob. Starring Bob Cummings.
Chelsea, honey, I'll be back in about 30 minutes.
Okay, Bob.
Not only do I not mind, Chelsea, it's on me.
$10 for coffee?
Treat your friends. The phone call was from my accountant, Harry Morton. He just closed the books on the most successful year we've ever had. $7,426.80 over last year's gross income.
Well, congratulations.
Chelsea, honey, I didn't. This little head ran the office. These little eyes read the correspondence. These little ears took a dictation.
I also shot off my mouth considerably. $8 gross income.
Call Chuck and ask him what he'd like for his birthday.
Right, boss.
And give yourself a bonus.
Oh, now, boss, you're too generous. Just give me $10 for coffee.
Yeah? Well, here is another 5 for Danish. Hey, I gotta move. I told Harry Morton I'd meet him at the Internal Revenue Office in 10 minutes. This year I can pay my
tax in one lump.
Hi, boss. Oh, I called Chuck, and here's a list of the things he'd like for his birthday. Cashmere jacket, slacks, alligator loafers, money clip with money. Oh, here's a change from the coffee break. Well, you're a very large secretary in this building.
60 cents?
Yeah.
You spent $9.40 for coffee?
You said treat my friends.
Nobody's got that many friends.
Bob Collins Photography. Oh, hi, Chuck. Chuck, I don't... Chuck, Okay, bye-bye, Chuck. That was your nephew calling from the store. He's seen something else he needs.
I've seen something else the entire family needs. A lesson in economy. Believe me, they're going to get it. Right now.
Margaret? Battle stations. Yeah, it's income tax time again. This year he gave it to the government in one lump. The trouble is, the government gave him one right back.
Worrying that the annual economy wave just rolled in. His Uncle Bob's on the warpath.
Oh, hi, Uncle Bob. I took the liberty of picking out my birthday presents and charging them to your account. It ran into a few chips, but you know the saying, dress right, you can't afford not to. Think of this crazy chapeau. And feel the quality of that cashmere. Is that the wildest? And these alligator loafers are the greatest Italian imports since Gina Lollobrigida. And notice how these cashmere socks delicately blend. Why are you putting everything on the table?
Carol, you gotta find Chuck. The last time I saw him, he was headed downtown to pick out some clothes.
There'll be a budget meeting in my office at 12 noon. Bring your canceled checks and your own lunch.
Where are you going?
Close up my charge account.
I'm sorry, Carol. Listen, if you find him, be sure... What happened?
I'm not sure, Mom. One minute I was the best dressed man in town, and then... pow!
Guys, ask yourself this. What if you could go harder? Take charge. And feel more alive again. Power to having a more youthful, stronger, and active body could already be inside you. It's called HGH, a powerful, youthful hormone that your body naturally produces. But after the age of 25, your natural HGH production slows dramatically.
account.
I'll check them, boss. All okay.
Don't mind.
Sure, boss. Help yourself. Well, I'll see you charming people later.
And just where do you think you're going?
Time for my coffee break.
Now that's the first expense we're going to cut out.
I pay for my own coffee.
And I pay you for the time that you spend down there gabbing with those other pastry hounds. From now on, you're going to make your own coffee and right here.
Well, I like to socialize with the girls.
Then socialize with them here. You got a big pot.
Not just a darn. Hey, does that mean that we'll furnish coffee for all the secretaries?
Yes, that's exactly what it means. And at 10 cents a cup. Money photographing people, then maybe we'll make it selling coffee.
Oh, now, Bob, really?
Margaret, if you have some other suggestion for solving my economic problems, I'll be very happy to listen to them.
I got one.
Good. Yeah, let's hear it.
Get married.
Any other suggestions?
I like Chelsea, yeah. And that diamond needle you're so worried about, you can make into an engagement ring. Yeah, I don't care if it's little.
She'll take into that stack of accounts that we're going to give to the collection agency. And don't come back without the money.
Well, I guess I can sell apples on street corners or take in washing.
We'll get going, Chuck. What do I get for doing this? You get to keep the diamond needle.
What's this for?
Apples and soap. Get busy.
This is important news for anyone who had hernia repair with mesh reinforcement and suffered injuries such as infection, chronic pain, movement or failure of the mesh, organ damage, or needed additional surgery. Some of these hernia mesh products have been recalled by the FDA, but other hernia meshes are still in use and may still cause injury. If you or a loved one with mesh reinforcement and suffered injuries such as infection, chronic pain, movement or failure of the mesh, organ damage, or needed additional surgery, call the number below right now to see if you're eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. If you or a loved one suffered injury from mesh used in hernia repair, call the law offices of Davis & Crump at the number below right now to find out if you're eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Call the law offices of Davis & Crump right now. Our first consultation is free, and we don't get paid unless you get paid. Call now. Operators are standing by.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you can lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Do you make friends easily? Friends? What friends? Try to avoid awkward situations. Does everyone love you, even when you're embarrassing?
Ready? Okay.
Then you're a Rachel, Caroline, Natalie, the sweetheart. And these lovely ladies will brighten your day 5 days a week. Come find your new bestie on CW6.
You know, I gotta tell you, this really does put me in a better mood.
Characters wanted. Which one are you?
Hi, Chelsea. Girls, just drop your dime in the petty cash box. What, no Danish?
Never mind the Danish. Where's the doll of a boss? What do you expect for 10 cents? A floor show? Oh, I pay more than that to see Colonel Dreamboat.
Me too, especially if he's working on one of those beautiful models.
He's working on the books. He's in a terrible mood, so we can do me a favor and just...
Schulte, look. No wonder I'm losing money. Here are... Oh, hello. What is this?
Coffee break, boss. See, here's the money.
Never mind. 40 cents? Schulte, that won't buy the sugar.
Boss, I'm just getting started. I gotta compete with the coffee shop downstairs.
If this is the best you can do, then coffee break. Upstairs and downstairs.
Boss,
you can spend it. time working on the books. I want you to see this mistake you made here. Parking, $50. The fee for parking is 50 cents.
Yeah, not this one, boss. You were parked with this girl whose father's a cop, and he came along and...
Parking at $50. Yeah. Well, don't let it happen again. After this, let me know if there's a cop in the family.
My old man's a traveling salesman. He's never around. My father's around, but Mama won't let him look.
Down, girls, down. Boss, don't forget you're interviewing new models this afternoon.
Well, then let's clear the decks for action.
Action? Now you're talking, doll.
I'll give you just 2 minutes.
Not much, but I'll take it.
To finish your coffee, out here.
Will you please grab your own, boss? Mine's in a bad mood.
Yeah, but yours looks better growling than mine just smiling.
I told you to lay off. It's income tax time.
He should be in the oil business like my boss. He can deduct for research and exploration.
Well, my boss does a lot of research and exploration, but he can't deduct it.
Schultze, you just gave me a wonderful idea.
What'd I say?
Something about research and exploration.
Schultze, thanks to you, I may revise the entire tax setup.
Research and exploration?
Yeah.
Research. Exploration.
Yeah?
Must have been the way she said it. Boss, don't get it. The first model will be here at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, well, I'll be back.
Would you like her to be in shorts?
Would you like to be working here tomorrow?
Interviewing a new model, huh? Boy, that's really something I'd pay to see.
Me too. Come on, girls, drink up. I'm going to have to clear out the whole place. What's the matter? Oh, nothing. All right, girls. The next coffee break will be at 3 o'clock, but now don't tell anybody that there will be a floor show at that time.
Because they come under the heading of research and exploration. But how do you figure that? Well, you see, I make my living photographing beautiful girls. Yeah. Now, if I'm to compete with such top photographers as Paul Hennessy and Wally Sewell, then I have to find more beautiful girls than they find. You see? Well, naturally, this means looking night and day. On the surface, these nocturnal expenditures probably may not seem to be legitimate deductions. Yeah, but I'm sure that you'll agree that they are. They are. Let me draw a parallel with the oil industry. Now, in order for an oil man in the same business, he must continually be searching for new sources of supply. Yeah. Now, by granting him by Rose Marie, Gertrude by Patty Chapman, and the model by Dorothy Johnson. This is Bill Baldwin speaking.
Decades is honoring actress Rose Marie. Now we revisit her 1968 appearance in the sitcom My Three Sons. But at the time, Marie had established herself as a comedic actress, having been nominated for 3 Primetime Emmy Awards for her recurring role on The Dick Van Dyke Show. Enjoy the My Three Sons episode, First Night Out, as Decades continues to honor actress Rose Marie.
Do you use catheters? Are you using the catheter that's really best for you?
Oh, yeah. For years, I've been using one kind of catheter, and I never knew that there were other really great catheters available until Liberator sent me samples to try. If I had not tried the samples from Liberator, I might never have found the perfect catheter for me. Liberator Medical sent me a catheter that was easier for me to use right out of the package. I even use them in my airplane and carry 4 or 5 and can be gone for a whole day. And now that I've found the best catheter for me, it's made my life much easier.
There are so many innovative catheters. Get the best catheter for you. Call Liberator Medical, a C.R. Bard company. Get your free catheter sample pack. Call 1-800-927-1980. 1-800-927-1980.
Introducing a breakthrough in hearing aid technology, presenting the all-new Eargo Plus, the world's smallest, most comfortable rechargeable hearing aid, designed with patented flexifibers so they're suspended completely inside the ear canal, and so small that they're virtually invisible. The kind of invisibility hearing aid wearers have been looking for. If you could look for invisibility, that is, which you can't. Or I guess you can, but you won't find it. Well, because it's invisible. You know, anyway. The point is, most people probably won't even know you're wearing them, and they're so comfortable, you might forget you're wearing them yourself. Eargo Plus is also rechargeable, so there's no need to replace batteries, because there's nothing more frustrating than those tiny hearing aid batteries. Or there probably is, but we just can't think of it right now. And our advanced noise reduction technology reduces background noise. Don't wait. Call or go online now to get your free sample pair today, and try the hearing aid PC magazine called Tiny, Comfortable, and Nearly Invisible. Eargo, your life to the fullest.
Friday was a holiday or something. Look at that calendar.
It's pretty colorful, all right.
Hey, wait a minute. What's all them circles doing around the 27th?
I put the blue in there. That's the night we play Lincoln High.
And the red one is to remind Rob of my high school class reunion.
Well, I guess it's going to be a big night for everybody. I put the green one there. I'm going to be installed as Emperor of the High Seat at my lodge.
Gee, that's great, Uncle Charlie.
Hey, ain't you going to congratulate me?
Oh, I'm sorry, Uncle Charlie. It's just that I was counting on everyone being home Friday night. It's our first night away from the babies.
Hey, there's only 3 circles there, and there's 3 of us. So that can only leave one person with nothing to do on Friday night.
Dad?
Yeah.
Steve can stay with the babies Friday night.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm going to be in San Francisco Friday night. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have to be there all weekend. It's an important meeting. Otherwise, I postpone it.
What would you think if you're postponing it?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't really care if I'm made emperor of the high seat anyway.
But you said that was going to be one of the highlights of your life, Uncle Charlie. Thank you, Uncle Charlie. But really, it's...
Now, listen, you two. If I want to stay home with little Charlie, I'll stay home.
I don't have to show up for the basketball game.
But you said the coach said if you missed the game, you'd be put on second string. Thank you. You're all wonderful, and I love you for it. It's just a silly reunion anyway. Brother, I should stay home.
Yeah, after all, they're our babies.
What?
Now what?
You sure know how to hurt a guy.
What do you mean, Ernie?
Well, all this back and forth stuff about who's going to stay home.
So?
I didn't put your circle on the calendar. I've got no place to go. What's the matter with me?
This is the craziest thing I've ever heard of. A little kid like Ernie taking care of the triplets.
Well, he is awfully good with them, Rod. You said yourself you were glad when he was around to help.
Oh.
Okay, we won't call.
Kate, would you consider going to the reunion without me?
Of course not. No, it's simple. I'll just get a headache or something, and we'll stay home.
Yeah, this is the first time that you and Katie have had a chance to go out together since the boys were born. But, after all, it is just a reunion.
Well, is this a private conference? Can anybody butt in?
Come on in, Dad. We're just trying to figure out what to do about Friday night.
Oh, well, I've been giving that little thought, and, well, why don't you just hire a babysitter?
Where are you going to find a babysitter that's taken care of the triplets before?
Yeah, we could very well hire a teenager. Why don't you get a practical nurse? You know, not too old, not too young.
Hey, that's a great idea.
I bet Dr. Osborne recommends somebody.
Yeah.
I'll give him a ring, huh?
Yeah, but there's still one little problem.
What's that?
Ernie.
What's everybody looking at me for?
Ernie, we've been talking about Friday night.
Well, yeah, that's why I came in here.
puddle house every time.
Are you kidding? How?
You see that guy right there? You see that slick down hair? Take it from me, Ernie. A gent with slick down shiny hair is strictly a no good nigga.
Well, it's the commercial.
Would you mind handing me my name back, please? Where to put that thing? Oh, there it is. He told me I'd be helping out a young man, so I brought you something.
Gee, thanks.
Hope you like homemade candy. Made it myself. Watch the fillings now.
Looks great.
Well, when I was your age, kid came along with candy. He was my pal. Oops. Now don't try to finish that whole box before the family gets home.
Seems kind of strange to be away from the boys, doesn't it, Ron?
You're supposed to be enjoying yourself.
Oh, yeah. It's just that
Hi, Katie.
Helen. Oh, it's so good to see you. Meet the boy who's responsible for my getting through algebra.
How do you do, Rob? I hear you have a nursery full at home.
3 beautiful sons. To be perfectly honest, I don't know whether I'll be able to stick it out all evening or not.
You sound like my wife. I take a pocket full of change when we go out, just for calling the sitter. Okay, I'll go check. But I keep telling you everything's fine. Excuse me. Hi, Aaron. This is Rob. How are things going?
Okay.
Do I hear the babies crying?
Oh, what else can babies do?
Now, wait a minute. Are the babies really crying?
I don't know. Want me to go check?
Ernie, where's Miss Goodeye?
Upstairs someplace. I'm watching TV. Hey, I gotta go now. They're about to string somebody up.
Sir. We'll order in a few minutes. You were saying, Steve?
Well, inside the nacelle there are 3 counterbalanced babies.
Babies?
Sorry, John, I'm concerned about things at the house. Katie and Robbie are going out tonight, and Chips has a basketball game, and Charlie has a lodge meeting, and, well, it's the first time we've had a babysitter for the triplets.
Well, I know that feeling.
I'm sure Dr. Osborne got somebody all right, but he hadn't called when I left this afternoon.
Well, waiter. Telephone.
Yes, sir. I've been wanting to do that ever since I got here.
Come on now, you sleeping. Kenny Baby's here. Oh, come on, cut it out. I got a reputation.
Hello? Is this the babysitter?
Yeah?
Well, I'm Douglas.
Oh, yeah, Ernie said you called.
I'm Mr. Douglas' father. I'm the grandfather.
Well, look, Mr. Douglas, unless you have something important to say, could you call back?
Why? Is something wrong?
What?
I said, is something wrong? Hello?
Why don't you tiptoe upstairs and see if number 1 and number 3 are asleep yet? I'll watch your television so you won't miss anything. Okay. Who is this? Look, never mind. Just call back, will you?
I can call back later.
It's halftime, and the coach wasn't too happy about me coming out here in the first place.
Well, say something rotten to the referee and get thrown out of the game. Then call back.
Charlie, you better get in there.
I'll be in a minute.
But they start swearing in the new officers. Swearing you out of...
Yeah, well, I got something to do first.
Well, what could be more important right now?
Well, you being a bachelor, Henry, you wouldn't understand. You're a bachelor.
That thing rings more. Oh. No. You watch the show and see what happens. I'll give you 2-1 on the turf. I'm gonna wake up the others. No.
What took you so long? And what was that racket?
Mister, whoever you are, will you call back? I can't talk now. I got problems. He's gonna wake us up again, Charlie. See, I told you, Ernie. You see that meathead? Who, man? No, not him. That meathead, that one, over there. He's gonna steal the sheriff's girl.
Do you think he'll beat the sheriff up?
Yeah, they don't make movie sheriffs like they used to.
The line is still busy. Ernie, he never...
He ever uses the phone this time of night? It's 10 o'clock.
But Charlie, at a time like this, you just can't walk out on us. Why don't you...
So, if we can clear it with Fred's office, I think that... All right, Emperor. Thank you. I don't understand how the line can be busy that long, unless the babysitter's a teenager. Operator, this is Mr. Douglas. Would you try that Los Angeles number again, please?
Avalanche. The whole mountain comes down on him. Gosh. They say it doesn't pay to be greedy. At least not an avalanche. Hey, you sure do know some great stories, Genevieve? Well, that's because when I'm working, I get a chance to see the late movies. Is that okay now? Okay. Yeah, sure hope you do come back and help me out. Oh, it's been a pleasure, sir. It's a pleasure. You can tell the others that you told me a story.
Why not you? We're talking about $6 trillion here. It's a whole lot of cash out there sitting on. America spot right now. They just don't have enough savings to get by. They could be our family. And then there's that $6 trillion. That's the amount retired homeowners have already paid into their homes. It comes down to an average of more than $200,000. So, use a reverse mortgage to access that equity.
Find out more. Call us today to receive a free information kit complete with a DVD presented by Tom Selleck. The kit will help you understand more about a reverse mortgage, decide if it's right for you, and the simple ways you need to qualify. Call 1-800-514-5844.
The reverse mortgage loan from AAG uses your built-up home to give you when you need it in the future. Pay it back when it works for you or in one lump sum when you leave the home.
Call now for a free, no-obligation information kit to find out how a reverse mortgage loan can pay for living expenses, medical bills, even credit card bills. Call 1-800-514-5844.
I know what you think. Why me? And why AAG? Well, I've done my work. And AAG is to helping retirees in their I trust.
Cash when you need to lift those monthly mortgage payments and give you the or pay off the bills.
Oh, it's all off. Oh. Yeah. That's it looks really yeah.
Oh, make way, ladies, make way.
Oh, there goes Candlestick Park.
That is the biggest bowl I have ever seen.
You see before you the Chris Rossio Bowl. And in exactly an hour and 15 minutes, it'll be brimming to the top with
yeah?
Finger licking on your fingers after the first dip.
What?
He's doing about now. They're snooping around the house trying to figure out where we get the credit. Listen, what's the gang up there going?
Sooner.
20 turkey hash.
I'll try to say. Plans for Christmas. Kidding.
I made reservations. Nicholson?
Doris, may I see you in my office, please?
Oh, yes, sir. I excited about the party.
Except me. I want to talk to you about the party. You just don't know. Well, that was... I don't know what it is about an office party, but it all and.
Holiday spirit.
Yeah, well, I got the holiday spirit too, Doris. We really get it. When everybody dips into Ron Harvey special spirits. And then before the whole thing is all our quiet little secretaries. Raquel Well gets up and does a...
You're kidding.
She can't... And you know something? For the next week, nobody can look anybody else in the eye.
Well, look, I think it's going to be... I think we're going to have a great party.
People have to... Oh, you could... Fool of themselves?
Oh, my... Tell people how many drinks they should have.
I am not asking you to be a chaperone, nor do I want to sound like Ebenezer Scrooge. I'm just asking you if you'll help me make this a nice Christmas party.
In order?
Well, I'd like you to help me.
Well, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll do my best.
That's a deal.
Deal. Oh, by the way, Mr. Nicholson, we're going to be home for the weekend for Christmas. I know I should have asked you sooner, but if you haven't made any other plans, we'd love to have you come and spend a...
Well, I plan for the weekend. I'm going to go to Palm Springs, play golf, play in the sun, and do absolutely
message from the Rely-On Group. Many American workers were subjected to hazards in the environment without their knowledge for decades. While the dangers of asbestos, an airborne threat, has been the risk was often hidden from the public, resulting in thousands of cases of asbestos-induced mesothelioma. Those who were most affected were workers in a number of different trades, where companies produced products containing it. The U.S. Bankruptcy Court has asbestos trusts with $30 billion in initial funding. You may be entitled to financial compensation without ever going to court. If you or someone you know has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, your voice deserves to be heard. Call the Rely-On Group at 800-804-2493. We've been helping those harmed by asbestos for nearly a decade. Act now. Call for a free consultation and see how we can help. Mesothelioma victims, we're here for you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Welcome to the wonderful world of disappointment.
Is it good news? I could use some good news.
Good news?
I have some exciting news.
Okay, good news, bad news. The bad news is for you. The good news is for me.
Good news, and I have bad news.
Bad news.
The good news is you're the young hot one.
Why is that good news?
0.
Come on now, Bill Gates, there. Tomorrow's a big day. You guys got to get up early. Say your prayers?
And I said an extra good one for Santa Claus.
You did? Oh, that's nice.
I don't want anything to happen to him, especially tonight.
Boy, you bet not. Good night.
Night.
Night, Bill.
Night.
Turn the light out soon now.
Hey, getting better.
Oh, boy, it wasn't easy.
We better wait for about a half hour before we put the presents in.
Can't wait to see Billy's face on cars. He is going to...
Listen, you notice them at dinner time? They were helping with the dishes.
They do it all the time now. Not, you know.
Oh, yeah, but tonight they put a little...
Palm Springs.
Well, Claus is going to come down the chimney, isn't he? You better put out the fire.
He here until after midnight, and he likes a nice warm house to come into.
That's right. Oh, now you two?
Well, if Toby gets to stay up, I get to stay up too. I'm older.
Both going to bed.
Tom, carolers.
Well, let's go listen.
Can we listen to him too?
Well, you're up anyway. You know.
Save us all from Satan's power when we are gone. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. From God our Heavenly Father, a blessed name, and unto certain certain shepherds brought tidings of the same. And in Bethlehem was born the Son of God by name. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
I'll be surprised. It's super. Oh, look at that tree.
We made a lot. What happened to your plans?
Well, after the party broke up, why, we got to thinking that Christmas was for family and friends, not strangers in the valley.
Yeah, but what about 6 feet 2 eyes of blue?
Yeah, well, my kind of lucky into being 4'3". You know me.
Well, I got to thinking about Palm Springs and playing golf and laying in the sun, and somehow that Christmassy.
Too hot, that's all.
Acapulco just to make a bunch of women happy. You'll let them suffer.
Come on, sit down.
Okay. Oh, are you hungry?
Oh, thanks.
I knew it. Oh, this is great.
Well, the truth is, I kind of miss a family Christmas.
Me too.
Well, let's face it, Doris, Christmas is family, and none of us have any family out here.
Well, you have now.
Right? Yeah.
That's me when I was just 4 years old.
Yeah, you're a handsome devil, aren't you? Do you ski? Never mind.
Would you just sit down?
Hey, that's a cute thing.
No, that's Doris. You got any like one?
I go out with all different kinds of guys. Went out with Selden Bernardi. Selden Bernardi. He was always so handsome, always so suave, always so debonair. He was always so drunk. That's what he was. He told me he was a member of the bar. I thought he was a lawyer. We were both right. He was a drunken lawyer. But I tell you, ever since I went out with him, I have found out the stories that the drunks tell, that there are no funnier stories than drunk stories. That's the truth, because they're all truisms. Every one of them are truisms. For instance, two drunks walking down the railroad track, right? Two drunks walking down the railroad track. One turns to the other and he says, "Hey, Fred, this is the longest flight of stairs I ever climbed." The other guy says, "Not the steps I mind, it's these low banisters." Two drunks at the zoo standing in front of the lion's cage. And all of a sudden, one of the lions lets out a big roar. And one of these, roar! Roar! One drunk turns to the other and he says, "Hey," he says, "let's get out of here." The other one says, "You can't leave now, the picture just started." Woman walks into a bar with the duck under her arm. Drunk walks over to her and he says, "Hey, where'd you get that pig?" He says, "I beg your pardon, that happens to be a duck." Drunk says, "I beg your pardon, I was talking to a duck." And you know who told me that joke? My best friend, Norm Crosby.
Super. I guess everybody's heard by now that they're going to make a national Proposition 13. Did you know that? To limit the income tax. Now, a lot of people resent paying income tax. But you know, when I pay my income tax on April 15th, I feel good and clean. And I am good and clean. We're all clean and good on April 15th. But as you know, our money goes to Washington. And that should give you a glow of suction. The department that gets the money is called Ways and Means. The title comes from the fact that they found ways to get it and a means to spend it. Let me explain our foreign aid policy. Way back in 1960, instead of giving Egypt the Aswan Dam, our government gave them several $billions. And that's our foreign policy. We're allowed to waste billions of dollars as long as the government don't give a damn. But in spite of all the aid we've given them, certain countries still remain hostile. You know about that guy from Uruguay, that idiot Amin. He's arming for war right now with our stuff. It's the truth. Last year we gave Uganda battleships and tanks and a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, which at this very moment are being melted down into millions of spears. Also supposed to get something in return from the foreign countries? We didn't get nothing. All we ever got in return for foreign aid was some Argentine lemons and some Mediterranean sugar. And I say lemons and sugar are not foreign aid. That's lemonade. Clubs are still having problems. After all, look what we're doing. We're taking groups of young college kids and sending them in amongst the most primitive natives in the world. And it's horrible. Drums beating all night long, and the dancing and the screaming and the yelling and the fighting. Those kids are driving the natives nuts. Right back. Thank you.
Welcome. Plenty seats. Thank you for coming. So, how many of us feel completely confident in our financial future? Nobody, right? Well, that's not uncommon. So, what worries you about your financial future? Let's hear some specifics. Yes, go ahead.
I don't want to be a burden to my kids. When my husband died, it took almost all of our savings to give him a proper funeral. I honestly don't know if there's enough to bury me, let alone cover expenses should something happen.
Can you all relate to that? So let's talk about solutions. One thing you may want to get in place is a guaranteed whole life insurance policy from United of Omaha Life Insurance Company, which is a Mutual of Omaha company. This is affordable coverage, which provides a cash payment which can cover funeral expenses, bills, and other financial needs, all from a company that's been doing the right thing for its policyholders for over 90 years. Yes, sir.
I need medical exams, things like that.
No medical exams. United of Omaha Guaranteed Whole Life Insurance makes it simple. If you're between the ages of 45 and 85, you can call this number or you can go online and apply for coverage up to $25,000. Yes, ma'am.
How will my kids make a claim if they need to?
Just call United of Omaha. Most payments are on their way within 24 hours. Yes, sir.
So I can get all this just by calling?
Yes, just call this number and ask about a guaranteed whole life insurance policy, and the agent will help determine what's best for you. Make sure you call today. They'll take good care of you.
If you're between ages 45 and 85, get up to $25,000 of coverage with a guaranteed whole life insurance policy from United of Omaha. Call the number on your screen or visit us online today.
Thank you. If you're a nightclub habitué, if you've been to any of the leading supper clubs or theaters around our country, you know Sammy Shore. He's a giant. Welcome, please, a funny man, Sammy Shore.
I just got this jacket. Looks like somebody shot the couch. But I not only do I do comedy, I'm also now that I'm a bachelor, I'm a male model. I make $75 an hour. Last year I made $150. But I tell you, now that I became a bachelor, it's difficult. I had to furnish my apartment, and I didn't know about that stuff. My wife always did that, and I went into the maid company, had a white sale, So I walked into the maid company, walked over to the sales clerk. I said, "Hi, I like your sheet." Because some of those people are pretty stupid. She says, "Why only one sheet?" I said, "Because I only have one bed." I said, "I have two pillowcases." She says, "Why do you have two beds?" I said, "Do you have any towels?" I said, "Yeah, I bought some striped towels with polka dots with green, magenta, it's purple, green." He said, "Well, sir, these towels won't match these sheets." I said, "Lady, I'm not going to sleep in the toilet." So if I gives me the sheet and I take it home, I put it on the bed, it doesn't fit. So what am I going to do with it? I bring it back. So I go to the salesman, I said, "Where's the lady waited on me?" She said, "Just quit some night over crazy with sheets." I'm into tennis. I love tennis. I'm into it